Every inmate in that yard stopped moving the moment he stood up. Because when the most physically dominant man in the entire facility decides to cross the yard, it means only one thing. Somebody is about to be tested. That somebody was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and nobody in that prison was ready for what happened next. If you are new here, subscribe. We drop these stories every single day. The Indiana Correctional Facility had seen all kinds of men walk through its gates. Former athletes, street fighters, maybe who had spent their entire lives using their size and strength to take whatever they wanted. But in the 2 years since Marcus Cole had arrived, nobody had come close to challenging him. Not once. Marcus was 6'4" and weighed 290 pounds of pure muscle. He had spent every single day of his sentence in the weight room, and it showed. The guards gave him space. The inmates gave him respect. And the ones who had been foolish enough to test him in his first year had quietly requested transfers to different cell blocks before the month was out. Marcus did not need to threaten people. He did not need to raise his voice. His presence alone was enough to communicate everything that needed to be said. He was the top of the prison hierarchy, and everyone inside those walls knew it. That was the situation on the Tuesday afternoon when Arnold Schwarzenegger arrived. Arnold had been processed through intake that morning. Strip search, medical evaluation, fingerprints, photographs. The standard procedure designed to strip away whatever identity a man carried in from the outside world. The guards had been professional but watchful. Everyone knew who Arnold Schwarzenegger was. Former bodybuilding champion, Hollywood star. A man whose physical reputation had preceded him through decades of public life. But the guards had also seen famous men arrive before, and they knew that fame meant very little inside these walls. What mattered here was something different entirely. Arnold had been assigned to cell block D. His cellmate, a quiet man named Raymond, who was finishing the 3rd year of a 5-year sentence, gave him the basic rundown within the first hour. The schedule, the rules, the unwritten codes that governed daily life in the facility. Raymond was careful and measured in the way he spoke, the way a man becomes when he has learned that words inside a prison carry consequences that words on the outside never do. He told Arnold about the yard, about the cafeteria, about the weight room, and then, almost as an afterthought, he told Arnold about Marcus Cole. Arnold listened without interrupting. He had always been a man who understood the value of gathering information before making any move. Back in his bodybuilding days, Cus D'Amato had taught Mike Tyson to study an opponent before stepping into the ring. Arnold had learned a similar lesson through years of competition. You observe first. You understand the environment. Then you decide how to act. That afternoon, Arnold went to the yard for the first time. The yard was large and open, surrounded by concrete walls topped with razor wire, guard towers positioned at each corner. There was a basketball court at the far end, a set of weight benches along the eastern wall, and a wide open space in the middle where inmates walked, talked, or simply stood in the afternoon sun. The moment Arnold stepped through the heavy metal door and into the yard, the atmosphere shifted. Conversations dropped to a lower register. Men who had been moving stopped moving. Eyes turned in his direction, the way eyes always turned when something significant entered a room. Arnold walked slowly toward the weight benches. He was not trying to make a statement. He simply wanted to continue the routine he had maintained for decades. Movement, discipline. The physical practice that had defined his life since he was a teenager lifting weights in a small gym in Austria. He had been at the bench for approximately 12 minutes when he noticed the change in the yard's energy. It started at the far end, near the basketball court. Conversation stopped. Men stepped back, creating space. And then Marcus Cole stood up from the bench, where he had been sitting with 3 other inmates, and began walking across the yard. He walked slowly and deliberately. Every step communicated the same thing. He was not in a hurry, because he had never needed to be in a hurry. The yard parted around him naturally, the way a current parts around something large and immovable. Inmates formed a loose circle without being asked, the instinct of men who had witnessed this kind of moment before and knew what it meant. By the time Marcus was halfway across the yard, every person in that outdoor space was watching. Arnold saw him coming. He set the weight down carefully, straightened up, and waited. Marcus stopped 4 feet away. He was taller than Arnold by 2 inches and outweighed him by 40 pounds, and he carried that size the way a man carries something he has earned through years of daily effort. He looked Arnold up and down slowly, taking his time, the way a man does when he wants everyone watching to understand that he is not impressed. "So you are the famous one," Marcus said. His voice was low and even, not friendly, simply factual. Arnold met his eyes and held them. "I am just the new arrival," Arnold said. Marcus let a few seconds pass. "I have heard about you," he said. "The bodybuilding, the movies, the way people talk about you out there." He paused. "Out there is not in here." Arnold said nothing. Marcus took 1 step closer. "In here," he said, "what you did out there means nothing. What matters is what you can do right now, in this yard, with these people watching. That is the only thing that has ever mattered inside these walls." The circle of inmates had tightened without anyone appearing to move. 40 men stood in complete silence. The guards in the nearest tower had shifted their attention to this corner of the yard. Arnold looked at Marcus steadily. "I understand," Arnold said, "and I respect what you have built in here, but I did not come to this yard to challenge anyone. I came to do my time and keep my body moving. That is all." Marcus studied him for a long moment. Then he said, "That is a good answer. Most men who come in here with your kind of reputation say something stupid in the first 5 minutes." He paused again, "But a good answer is not the same as the right answer. The right answer has to be shown, not said." And then Marcus Cole did something that nobody in that yard had seen him do before. He reached out and placed one hand on the weight bar that Arnold had set down. He did it slowly and deliberately, making sure every man in that circle saw exactly what he was doing. It was not a threat, it was a test. A direct, unambiguous challenge delivered without a single word of aggression. Arnold looked at the hand on the bar. Then he looked at Marcus. Then, without any visible change in his expression, he reached out and placed his own hand on the other end of the bar. The yard was absolutely silent. What happened in the next 60 seconds was not a brawl. It was not the kind of violence that ends careers and adds years to sentences. It was something more precise than that. 2 men, each of whom had spent a lifetime developing physical capability, each of whom understood that real strength is demonstrated through control rather than chaos, communicating in the only language that the moment required. When it was over, Marcus Cole took 3 steps back. He looked at Arnold for a long time. The expression on his face had changed in a way that every man in that circle recognized immediately, because it was an expression none of them had ever seen on Marcus Cole before. He nodded once. Then he turned and walked back across the yard. The circle dissolved. Conversation slowly resumed. The guards in the tower relaxed. Arnold picked up the weight bar and continued his workout.